Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 37 of the Beat of the Bronx podcast. I'm Jess. This is Russ.
What's up? What's up?
All right. Let's get right into it. Big news of the week so far. We had the Giants.
The New York Football
The
Giants.
New York Football Giants.
A lot of Giants news this week, but the New York Football Giants with their big loss in Denver. That the loss that almost wasn't, but there was a lot of trash talk that leading up with both more the Broncos,
Yeah.
but the way the Giants lose in typical Giants fashion, and they actually waived kicker Jude McAtamney.
Yeah.
So there was no workouts yesterday, so we're waiting to see if anyone came in today, probably a little bit later in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Graham Gano is eligible to come off injured reserve, so we'll see.
They say he's ready.
I mean, they say he's ready, but do we want to have another situation where, how many times does this team want to be burned by a kicker who's, okay, good to go, and then in pregame warmups, somehow injures himself, which wouldn't be the first time that happened. But, the Giants could have cut ties with Graham Gano, but they didn't.
Mm-hmm.
We know Jude McAtamney was waived, so he'll most likely be, maybe returning back to the practice squad. But he's not going to be him. It's going to be Graham Gano if he's healthy. Young Ho Koo, who they brought in.
Yes.
The Jersey native, formerly of the Atlanta Falcons. Could he have his chance? Now, the whole thing is with Young Ho is that he was allegedly beaten out by Jude McAtamney in practice reps, which none of us see, none of the members of the media see.
That's not very promising.
No, it's not very promising, and he's had his own issues of missing, field goals and extra points. But kicker, it's a situation here that the Giants are the prime example of a position that's usually put on the back burner that not really worried about. I mean, the Giants had their chance this year to draft a kicker, which they didn't, and the kicker that they let go, who they had from training camp, Lucas Havarisk, he hit like a 62 yarder filling in for the Green Bay Packers. So one of those, it's one of these things here. It's one of those positions, one of those situations that almost need to be kind of automatic.
I mean, I feel like also just the fact that he missed a few, the one that was released.
He missed two extra points last week, and then the week before that, the win versus the Eagles, he also missed one, and that was kind of. But
we won.
We still won, so it didn't come back to bite us.
Yeah.
But, it wasn't just his fault.
But that's my thing.
Most of the blame.
That's my thing.
Definitely wasn't all his fault.
It doesn't help.
No, it doesn't help.
But it's not all on him.
The whole thing with the Giants here now is that they went for a couple times on fourth down.
Yeah.
They have to punt the ball more.
Mm-hmm.
It's they're not really going for that with Jude McAtamney. Really, a field goal more than 30 yards they're not attempting. So that completely changes the game plan.
Yeah.
So you're going for it on fourth down, and most of the time not converting on those fourth downs, and changes the whole offensive game plan. Because, for instance, if you have a team like we'll talk about we'll say Groupie from the Saints,
right,
who has a big leg and could hit from 50, 60 yards out. When you have a kicker who you can depend on, who can hit that 40-yard field goal, that 40-plus yard field goal, 50-plus yard field goal in this day and age, with seamless accuracy that most kickers nowadays do. It's only seems like the Giants are the ones that have these kicker problems these past years here.
It's something that's really taken for granted, I think.
But it definitely taken for granted because the offense gets stunted.
Yep.
The game plan of the offense is stunted. You're basically it puts more emphasis on getting into the red zone and getting into the end zone rather than, not saying playing for a field goal, but if you have a kicker that can hit a 46-yard field goal, it can bail out your team, bail out your offense a little bit.
We've seen it happen plenty of times to other people.
Seen it plenty of times against us, and now Jackson Dart, it's become pretty evident that the quarterback is not the problem anymore for the Giants.
Yeah.
Jackson Dart has definitely arrived and showed that he belongs in one of the top young. I mean, he has 7 touchdowns for a rookie.
I have to say,
rookie quarterbacks here.
That last extra point when it would have tied the game, correct?
Mm-hmm. Well, it would have led to a field goal.
It would have led to a field goal.
They would have needed the field goal to tie.
They would have needed the field goal to tie us.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I always say this. I know baseball. I don't know football like that. I watch it. I enjoy it. I'm a Giants fan, but I don't know it to that point. My question for you is, why in that situation are they not going for 2 to force the touchdown? Why is that not a consideration
here?
A lot of whys, especially when he already missed an extra point and missed the week before. Why are we even doing that? We know that Jackson Dart's pretty damn good doing what he's doing. Why aren't we letting him go for 2?
I think a lot of it had to do with already missing the extra point and then them going for it and not getting it.
Sure.
It's like we said,
anyway.
It changes the game plan. But I think we lost because pretty much the defense seemed like it was gassed.
That was a record breaking fourth quarter. I mean,
33 points in the fourth quarter.
Insane.
And it was
the most points that the Denver Broncos ever scored in a fourth quarter in the history of the team.
I mean, it was 5 minutes and 14 seconds left, 26-8. But the prevent defense, the rushing 3, dropping 8, which is crazy. I just don't understand. Dexter Lawrence not on the field that last drive. Arguably the Giants' best defensive player. Abdul Carter, they've been rotating in and out, and I'm not really sure why they've been doing this. Why why the personnel is being used the way it is from the coaches. I'm not that well versed in the game of football to be talking about the X and O's like that.
Yeah.
But I do know enough, and I've been watching the Giants, for over 30 years now, that when the game is on the line, why is the number 3 overall draft pick that you took and hold in such high regard not on the field? Now, in the post game, we were listening to the post game on the radio because it wasn't on TV. It wasn't on TV.
That was weird.
For some reason. They were having technical difficulties here. But Paul Dottino talked about it on the radio and with Dexter Lawrence. And Dexter said he can only speak for himself with, guys being fatigued and stuff. But he didn't think that was the case. Now, from following football for as long as we've had, we know that with the altitude in Colorado and Denver,
it changes things.
With 5 minutes left to go, if the players aren't, allocating their energy properly and, with
getting winded much more easily.
Getting winded a lot more easier. It seems like that was pretty much the case. Now, I don't want to use that as an excuse. Because it's not. The Giants put up 32 points on
they were more than capable.
One of the best defenses in the game. It's just that our own defense, who pitched a shutout for 3 quarters here, seems they just got winded. As the fourth quarter, once it started, as it went on, it was very, very evident that the defense was losing it. They lost grasp of it, and they definitely lost grasp of it that last drive there. But the prevent defense, with defensive coordinator Shane Bowen under a lot of scrutiny. Brian Daboll came out the other day. No one from the coaching staff is going to be going anywhere at this moment. Still be doing his play calling duties, but it's not the first time. We saw the similar thing happen to the Cowboys loss.
Yes.
That a 2-5 Giant team right now, we could easily be talking about a team that has 4, maybe even 5 wins.
Mm-hmm.
But, they don't. We can't go back in time and change it here. But what could they do better, this week against a team that they already beat in such a short turnaround here?
I think the issue that I'm seeing in general is that in terms of the defense side of it, is that they're sticking to their plan and they are not veering from it at all, even if it's not working.
Yeah, exactly.
Like they could have, as you see that fourth quarter going down the way it did this week, they made no adjustments. Really.
No, playing prevent defense.
It's the same thing.
Completely completely let them down the field. And
now I understand that at the end of the game, you see Dable yelling at Bowen and all that stuff, and you know what? Fine. You want to be mad now. You come out and you say there are no coaching changes being made and all of that stuff. But why? I mean, and I've heard many other people say this as well. I'm definitely not alone in this. Why are you yelling at the dude at the end of the game and not having him change something while it's happening? You're watching it go down.
With the head coach, if he had a problem, and we're just assuming, if he had a problem.
Well, I'm assuming he had a problem because you see him
obviously
yelling. I mean, he's.
But as the head coach, he could step in during the game and say, "Hey,
make a change.
Why are we playing prevent defense here? Start rushing guys. Why is this one off the field? Why?" He's so concerned about Jackson Dart following into the blue tent.
Yes.
When Dart went down, getting hurt. But that same energy from the head coach, you don't see him sticking his nose into the defense maybe as much as he should, as he does in the offense.
That's exactly what I mean.
And, even though, he's not calling the plays on offense, you see he's very involved in the offensive play calls. But as the head coach, he could say, "Hey, I don't like what we're doing here. This is the last drive of the game. We're going to do this," instead of letting it happen and acting like he knew it was going to happen and then scolding the coach.
Almost like an "I told you so."
Yes.
Like, I told you it was going to work.
It just leads you to believe that, with this regime here with the Giants, with this coaching regime, that, it's not really making any progress.
Yeah, it's not.
It's just, they're getting a little better. And, Jackson Dart did throw the interception. It didn't help, but that wasn't the whole story. They got lucky with the pass interference call on Bo Collins. Not even when Sean Payton came on the field. The penalty was onto the 2-yard line. It got moved up to the 1-yard line. Would it have helped if the Giants didn't score so quick? Better game management, better clock management. Does that come down on Jackson Dart? Does that then again come down on Coach Brian Daboll, who, I look at it as kind of he was mismanaging the time there.
Yeah.
Could have taken, they could have not scored so quickly.
I think it was a lot of little things that also kind of perfect storm.
The defense giving up 33 points in the fourth quarter doesn't help either. Just the interception didn't help. There was a lot of things, and it wasn't, the few, it wasn't even the penalties like it usually is, but there was the few timely penalties on that last drive. Burns not being able, if Brian Burns was hurt, if Brian Burns was tired, why was he out on the field? Why wasn't Abdul Carter? But, these are some answers that, we'll probably never get answers to.
But we can sit and talk about them anyway.
I don't understand, the rotation, why they continuously put guys out on the field who continuously make the same mistakes week in, week out in, in coverage. Not being able to make stops, not being able to make plays, tackles, for instance, Deontay Banks. Why do they continuously put this kid out there, almost knowing that, he's the weak link on defense? That is where the opposing offense is going to centralize their attention to.
Yeah.
And it seems that, it always finds, the defense, it always comes down to a misplay by Tay Banks. And that's because he's the weak link on defense.
Yeah.
And the other teams are, honing in on that. And it's a problem that we keep seeing reoccurring in these losses.
The other teams are able to capitalize on these things. They take advantage. They know those weak spots and they take advantage of them.
We'll also find out if Paulson the Dabo is going to be playing this week. Because once he got hurt and was off the field, you can completely see the shift in the defense. Yes. Not the excuse, not the reason, but it didn't help. But it really didn't help. And now, if he can't go this week, that would be a different story. We saw
a completely different defense.
With the waiving of Jude McAtamney, they brought back Corey. I want to say is Corey Black. I know his last name was Black.
Okay.
They got him from the Jets practice squad. He was with the team in training camp. So that's just, an extra body that came in here. I want to say it's Corey with a K, right? Yes. Corey with a K, Corey Black. Corey. So he'll be in here, and I'm real interested to see today what goes on with the kicker situation. But my main concern Whether, now it seems like if you want to say we're stuck with defensive coordinator Shane Bowen, what type of adjustments is he going to be making to his play calling here? Because I just don't want to see a prevent defense anymore.
He's got
at the end of the fourth quarter. I mean, when you take a player in a top 5 draft pick, Abdul Carter, you take a player, and for him not to be, and he's been a difference maker. I mean, we're not seeing the results, but if you're watching the game, you see the pressures he's putting on the quarterback. You're seeing the quarterback hits. He's making such a difference when he's on the field. Whether it's helping, I mean, I understand you have Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau, Abdul Carter. These are all guys that pretty much play the same position. So that's why there's the rotation out of there. But not to have Dexter Lawrence on the field and to not rush. I mean, the Giants for years, I know different coaches, different players, but for years have been known for their pass rush and their ferociousness on defense. And with this current coaching regime here, it's just not there.
No.
But the players that they have on the roster could reflect that old.
It all depends on how they're played.
Just how they're coached, how they're played. It's just some kind of adjustment needs to be made here. I'm not saying that Shane Bowen has to become Wink Martindale, because he's not. That's not what he is. But there's no adjustment being made. It was the same thing to me
over and over
as the Cowboy game, and you're just watching the defense and you're saying they're going to lose this game. They're going to lose this game. Not contesting passes. I mean, just what are they doing here to change it? It's just
that's my father would say, they're giving it away.
They're giving it away.
They're giving it away.
The defensive game plan in the last 5 minutes, the last 6 minutes of that fourth quarter, just there's no adjustments being made. It's just they let them waltz down the field.
Mm-hmm.
And Will Lutz, a kicker, who has a big leg, and you add that to the altitude of being a mile high, that a 52-yard field goal is kind of like a 38-yard field goal. But, taking a longer field goal, it's like taking a lesser field goal, but not for the Giants, for competent kickers. And it just amazed me how the offense was able to move the ball and at times of the game make an example out of a really good Broncos defense. And even Nick Bonito was on NFL Network yesterday. We saw the clip from Kay Adams' show, and he was giving Jackson Dart his praise of how he was a lot better than what they thought they were going to be seeing, and how the kids got it.
I mean, analysts in general have been pretty high on Jackson Dart. It's been,
and we see it. We see
the potential. We see it. The ability. The problem is that if the team doesn't form around him properly, it's not going to matter.
When you see a team dominate a game the way they did until the last 5 minutes, the Giants were in complete control. The offense was competent. I mean, they had their moments. So did the Broncos.
But everyone does.
That with the rookie mistake of Jackson Dart, the rookie mistake was that interception.
Right.
But that didn't tell the whole story of the game. That wasn't, like we've basically been saying, it wasn't the main reason they lost the game, but it definitely attributed to the loss. But the defense was the main problem in this game. And unfortunately, the kicker missing 2 extra points because of the incompetency of the defense the last 6 minutes of the game. It was easy to point a finger.
Right. He was a very, very easy scapegoat.
It made it a lot easier. And it also, the kicker missing the 2 extra points took a lot of the blame off the defense.
Right.
Before looking into it. And now it's a chain effect here. The kicker missing the 2 extra points took off the importance of Jackson Dart throwing that interception. And then the drive at the end of the game and the penalties from the Broncos negated the interception from Dart because he came back and scored, but then he can come
So
back.
we kind of say, oh, we forgot about it a little bit, because the next bad thing happened.
There was a lot of different chain of events that allowed, different things to happen, but things that, kind of you say, can't keep happening, which keep happening, like a Deontay Banks, not turning around, or not playing the ball properly, or not playing the receiver properly, or not, whether looking inside or outside when depending on the game script of the game of what's happening during the game. But there's so many different controllable aspects of what happened in that game
just kind of
that will let go, like just the play calling alone on the defense. Why are you playing prevent defense, knowing that based off of past events in the game and in recent weeks of what's going to happen, and just taking it, almost making it like a game of chance,
right?
But knowing that it's more going to work in their favor than your own, and not. I took a lot of problem with, we both took problem with of how Daboll acts at the end of the game, and screaming and yelling.
Very reactive. He's very reactive.
If he would have put that energy into when it was happening, it could have maybe been avoided.
He seems very much to be a woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Well, you want to see the head coach be a head coach.
Yeah. Guide the team.
Just because he's an offensive-minded head coach is he completely hands-off on the defense? But it seems like he just wants to point blame.
It seems like that. It seems like he wants to be hands-off so that it's not his problem.
It would have been nice to see a head coach. And it'd been nice to see Brian Daboll maybe step in, and maybe he did, maybe he didn't. But from what it seems like on the outside looking in,
I feel like if he did, then something would have been different. We would have seen a change. But, unless he's sitting there going, "Good job, coach, keep going." I can't understand that the way he's yelling at the end.
The answer to the question of why the rotation. I mean, obviously, they didn't come out and say it. They didn't use it as an excuse. Even Tiki Barber said the same thing on the post game on the radio. It was evident that the defense was tired.
Yeah.
Because of just being on the field. Maybe it's unfortunate you can't go back and change things, but you can only, think about moving forward that we won't see the game managed the way it was the last 5 minutes from the Giants' perspective, that something needs to change. And whether it's, bringing in a new kicker, elevating a kicker, not rotating as much. But then, that comes down to one of the players is going to be not playing as much.
Exactly.
And then it gives you the woulda, coulda, shoulda. Well,
if he would have played.
If Abdul Carter was on the field, or Kayvon Thibodeau was on the field, something needs to some kind of defense solidification here.
Yes.
Where, whether it's, etching out, certain roles for the players, just something. For as good as the potential as the defense has, and we've seen the potential here, just that last 5 minutes. And it wasn't just this last game. It was other games too.
Yes.
Just something, the change needs to be made, and it needs to be centralized, I think, to, almost like a 2-minute drill.
Right.
The last final 5 minutes of the game, the Giants need to change their mindset. They need to change. I mean, you can't change that much on personnel. You play with what you got here. And, guys get hurt throughout the game. We see that.
Yeah, of course. It always happens.
With the two defensive backs getting hurt throughout the game.
Mm-hmm.
And, with Dane Belton, the special team specialist coming in, who played, pretty damn good. It's just, they made adjustments at that part. But, there's also other aspects of the defense where adjustments need to be made. And it just seems like, it's something to me, it seems like with the pass rush that it's just there's not as much of an emphasis with the Giants, with the pass rush.
Yeah.
And that almost as if they're playing safe, but it's playing safe to the point where it's giving an advantage to the opposing team and it's working against themselves. It's just you'd like to see some kind of, just like the Yankees, you want to see some kind of philosophical change here, that and it just seems centralized with that final 5 minutes of the game, because it's not even like we're complaining here that the Giants were unable to. They were inept on offense. They were unable to move the ball. They scored, and at the end of the game, they scored at will.
I know,
which it seemed like, and just something.
Can't blame the offense in this case. I mean, yeah, okay, there was one.
I know, you can say coaching changes, but that's not happening at this point. That's not going to happen right now. So with what the Giants have right now, what could they do differently to change what we're seeing? Seeing change at the end of these games here.
Well, some sort of defense mindset needs to be worked on, for sure. That pushing through at the end of the game, like you were saying at the last 5 minutes, like they need to.
They were completely going through the motions.
Once that clock has like 8 minutes left, they should be pretending like they just stepped out onto the field in the first quarter. And I know that these guys are tired. I understand that, but they're professionals.
They look completely.
They're meant to play through this amount of game. Yeah. So it's not like this is like a shocking thing here. And yes, I do agree with what we had said a little bit earlier also, where I do think that on offense, the clock management does need to be a little bit better. We're almost getting through a little too fast, and we're rushing our defense back.
That's what I thought. One of my first thoughts was, you want the Giants to score. And I said, they scored kind of quick here.
Yeah.
And now, the defense is coming right back on the field.
They're tired. These guys need a little bit more rest.
The rest was history there.
You know what? Let's
we'll
close out our Giants. What do we got going on this week? We're playing
Giants-Eagles in Philadelphia. So after playing them a week ago before this one, and let's see if they can go for the season sweep. And it's been blatantly put out there now that these aren't the same old Giants with Jackson Dart. We'll see how they go up against the Eagles in Philadelphia. Is it going to be a different story? We'll find out. But there's a little added extra motivation here, I think, from the Giants now, knowing that they already beat the Eagles from just a few weeks ago. That it's been established here now that they can hang with these top teams. It's just a matter of whether or not they can finish the football game and
keep the momentum right until
the track
that
record
last
has
second.
Been showing that they can't finish the football game. So they have to find a way, try to figure out a way, try to adjust to a way to finish out a football game, because this is a problem that we've seen with other coaches as well.
Yeah, of course.
It's
not a new thing.
It's not something that's just happening now in recent years. This is something that through the Giants' struggles, through the Giants' successes, that ability and the inability to finish the football game, and just gotta. So when they have a lead, gotta close it out. We'll see what happens this
Sunday,
week
1:00
against
the Eagles on Fox.
Is that what it says?
That's what it says, according to the internet.
All right,
it's on Fox. So we shall see what happens.
We still haven't watched the Saquon documentary yet. I don't know if we probably won't even watch it. I'm interested in the Montreal Expos one.
Yes, that I really want to watch. And completely non-sports related. I know I've mentioned it a bunch of times. I really want to watch the John Candy documentary on Amazon Prime. It looks so interesting. But that's neither here nor there. We got lots of things that we could be watching. Well, we could be watching a lot of stuff because the Yankees aren't. The Yankees are out in the World Series at the moment. So
it was
we'll still be watching some baseball.
We follow
we're baseball fans when it comes down to it.
We watch it, but we're not watching it with that intent the same as the Yankee game.
Of course not.
When the Yankees are on, but
let's talk about that a little bit.
You get into it. Very exciting series. I mean,
really.
Game 7, George Springer does it again.
Some game. I can objectively sit here and say, wow.
Talk about a winner, George Springer.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
And
I know that there's a big conversation going on right now discussing whether, as Yankee fans, who we're rooting for in the World Series. You made a video about it.
I mean, as a baseball fan, I'm rooting for a game 7.
Oh yeah, always.
It'd be nice to see this go into Game 7, but the Dodgers just seem so far ahead, and as good of a ball club as the Blue Jays are, and we've seen them, definitely seen them to the fullest this year of what they're capable of.
I think it's going to be some World Series.
But for Shohei Ohtani to be a 4th starting pitcher, just the performance that he had the performance he had, the 3 home runs, the one literally going out of Dodgers,
literally out,
and then 10 strikeouts, and just it puts an interesting twist here. And we were talking about it when we were watching that Dodger series and watching Shohei dominate. That how unimportant is the regular season? I mean, the importance of the regular season is obviously you have to have the standing to get there.
Yeah.
But when you get there, to have a pitcher who didn't pitch in the regular season be such a dominant force and such a deciding factor of what happened in that series based off of his performance as a pitcher, not his hitting performance, his pitching performance of
so impactful.
The impact and how you just sit there saying to yourself, and just you can say the same thing for Trey Savage for the Toronto Blue Jays. Of how he only had 4 starts in the regular season, and his impact is being made here in the postseason. Now, in the future, we're seeing all these young kids come up of from years ago, and knowing how the Yankees do things, that we would never see top pitching prospects come up at the end of the season like that. Have such an impact on the playoffs and the playoff performance.
It's amazing.
You see all these teams. I mean, the Red Sox did it in the wild card round. Just, are we going to be seeing more of these young pitching prospects now?
Well, it seems to me like we're seeing a lot of saving it.
Yeah, almost
like they're saving it.
They're starting the season in rookie ball, A ball, double A,
pushing through those levels,
just
pushing throughout the season.
Strategically being their performances being mapped out through the season.
I really think that's a big part of it.
It really looks like that Trey Savage. That whether or not this is the truth or not, it seems as if that was the plan all along.
Yes,
from the Blue Jays, that they were going to use their top prospect, strategically, and build him up throughout the minor leagues and then just sample him at the end of the season.
Now, remember, we've talked about this before, that a lot of times we see this happen when a team is trying to throw their opponent off a little bit.
Yep.
So it really is a great strategy.
It happens a lot with the Yankees, where they'll have
all the time.
A young starter will get called up. He'll start the game, one of 3 games, one of 4 games of the series against the Yankees. Most of the time dominate because the Yankees don't fare well against a pitcher that they'd never seen before. And then, shortly after, you see so-and-so was sent back down.
Yep.
And then you don't hear from him.
No.
Or you don't hear about him the rest of the season. This happens a lot against the Yankees. Are we going to be seeing this happen more now throughout the league?
I think so.
Where young prospects are going to be strategically built up throughout the season, sampled a little bit at the end of the season, towards the end of the season, and then when it comes down to it, and a lot of this has to do with now where, the guys don't technically have to be called up.
Right.
They don't have to physically.
They're not wasting options
like
in
they
doing
used
this.
To be. But hey, I mean.
But how does it work? So in order to be on the postseason roster, you got to be on the 40 minutes.
It's not like the old days where you got to be called up before, you got to be on the roster
at the end of the season. 31st. Yes, I remember that. Like it had to be at that point.
40-man roster.
But
I mean, it's just.
It's working to their advantage.
You see these
with
young,
a lot of these teams.
It works to a lot of their advantage. It's just things. I mean, the Yankees did it to an extent with Cam Schlittler, but that was out of more necessity.
We had no choice.
Needing him out of necessity, but unbelievable what we're seeing going on here, and just two pitchers for the 2 World Series teams who basically didn't pitch at all, or very little, much so during the regular season, are the ones here that are making the most impact.
Yeah.
Same thing with Blake Snell. Now, he was injured.
Right.
Different story, but you're seeing a pitcher here, big name pitcher, big contract pitcher, doing what he was brought in to do, and the Dodgers are just making a statement here. Just, I think, showing of how much better they are, and than the rest of the league. Will the Blue Jays win? We'll find out.
I'm interested to see for the Blue Jays what kind of impact Bo Bichette is going to have.
Well,
because now he's going to be playing, and he hasn't played the entire postseason.
Hasn't played since, I want to say, September 6th.
Right.
And will he be DHing for them?
I mean, it's hard now because they have a groove going.
Yes.
And they're doing so well. They're so successful. Now
and
to bring Bo Bichette back in.
How do you take Ernie Clement out of that line?
I can't imagine, honestly.
How do you take Ernie?
Honestly.
That's I guess that's John Snyder's problem.
But also, as a player, for Bo Bichette, of course you want to be the impact. You want to be the guy that's going to come in and be like, I'm going to do it all.
The type of hitter that he is alone, one of the better hitters in the American League.
But do you also take a step back a little bit, look around, and say to yourself, like, maybe it's all right if I'm a pinch hitter sometimes, just coming in, because you really don't want to mess with this stuff. You want your team to succeed as well.
If it was me, I have no problem with Bo Bichette coming back.
Yeah.
No problem with it. Just you can't justify to me with the way they've been playing and how they've gotten there. If he's, let's just say batting leadoff, starting at shortstop, I would be a little surprised to see him in the field.
Yeah.
If they want to DH him, use him here and there for his bat, I get it.
Yeah.
But the way things are going, to throw him right back, I wouldn't do that. But I guess we'll just
we'll find out soon.
I guess we'll just find
out.
Is
tonight the first game?
No, it's Friday.
Friday. Oh, that's right. That's another thing. We were talking about the schedule. I cannot understand
the Dodgers playoff.
Why is it so okay?
TV.
The Blue Jays went the full 7, right? Mm-hmm. So they even still have 4 days off. I think 4 days.
Was it 3 or 4? Yeah.
Either way, I feel like that's a lot. You got these hot teams coming in. Now, we always talk about, like, if somebody sweeps and then they have this long wait until the next series and all that stuff, so they can cool down a little bit, all that. We've always dealt with that. But in this situation, this was like built-in break time into the schedule.
Yes. It was very
odd.
An interesting layoff. I mean,
I guess we'll see what happens.
Very interesting layoff.
Again, like we said, we'll be watching.
It is what it is. We'll be watching
sporadically. Yeah.
Kind of
check in every so often with the games.
It's kind of a double-edged sword, if you want to say. I'm kind of you're kind of grasping. I know the Yankees are out, but you don't want the season to end. But then you kind of want to just fast forward into the offseason here now, because a lot of big news with the big news today coming out of Japan and the Yomiuri Giants posting their first player ever. Now, when Hideki Matsui came over, he was an international free agent. He wasn't posted from the Yomiuri Giants. And now Kazuma Okamoto, the right-handed hitting corner infielder, a little bit outfielder, but first base, third baseman, Kazuma Okamoto, is now the first player posted in Yomiuri Giants history. And we're very interested here because the right-handed bat who's been playing in the Nippon Baseball League for 11 years now, I want to say he had well over 200
It was over 800.
Runs.
And it was over 800 OPS.
In 11 seasons, he has 277 home runs and an OPS of 856.
We also saw him in the World Baseball Classic.
We saw him in the World Baseball Classic, and he made a big impact.
We talked about him a little bit in the last episode.
We talked about him. Now, there was the report that came out today. I saw on X. I want to say it was Yankee Source put it up. There was a scout talked about how his comparing him to Munetaka Murakami, the other Japanese import that is going to be posted. There's a few of them that have became official so far. So the confirmed postings are Munetaka Murakami, first base, third baseman, first base, third base, Kazuma Okamoto, 29 years old, and pitcher Kona Takahashi, 28-year-old. And there's also 2 other possible postings here now of pitchers, Tatsuya Ime and Hiroto Saki. Now, Ime we saw a little bit too in the World Baseball Classic.
Yep.
And they also have another international free agent who's going to be coming over.
Oh, he's a free agent.
Takahiro Norimoto, 34 years old. So it'll probably be similar to the Tomoyuki Sugano.
Right.
When he came over, who's a free agent this year.
Oh, interesting.
With the Baltimore Orioles. And then we'll see what other if there'll be any other postings here. So a few Japanese imports. And
now the rules with the posting is that there's, from the date of posting, they have a 45 all MLB clubs, all 30 teams, have 45
Different
days.
than the old way. It's not
Yes.
like the old way, where it was a bidding war
Right.
just to talk.
Right.
You would bid
your signing
just to
bonus,
negotiate.
Right. Right.
Yes.
You had to commit it.
Now it's very different.
So now they have all 30 clubs have 45 days from the date of posting, which lands on
So for Akamoto today he was posted.
His period ends on December 6th, according to my 45-day calculation.
Mm-hmm.
Over the course of that 45 days, all 30 teams have the right to negotiate with the Yomiuri Giants to discuss the possible contract. The now posting fee, so to speak, is not what it used to be. It used to be dictated by the team in Japan that you were purchasing the player from. So
when Matsuzaka came over, remember?
Oh my God, that was such a big deal. So now it's a percentage of the contract that's signed, depending on the guaranteed money, depending on how many millions that contract is. So the first 25 million is the fee would be 20% of the first 25 million guaranteed. And then there are other percentages, like the next, I think 15 is 17.5%, all that, so to speak. There is also dictates on bonuses and other monies that can come in from those contracts. They can receive percentages of the bonuses as well and all of that stuff. Then there's also something that involves just the minor league signings and not a major league, but all of these players that we're talking about are anticipated major league players. We're not anticipating any of these guys, from what I've read so far. The ones that we've named are not really anticipating getting signed and then not playing in the major league level.
Yeah, exactly. No, these are star-studded players.
Yeah, they're
making the jump
over there.
And Akamoto, just a little brief history of him. Now, we're no experts on Kazuma Akamoto.
No, we've done some readings of what's available to us. Watched some videos.
But basically, he's an 11-year veteran who was the captain of the Yomiuri Giants. So it's not like you're getting some bench player here. You're getting their premier.
He's the guy.
He's the guy. He's their leader, and pretty damn good player in his own right here.
Definitely.
You see all the highlights of him doing well in the World Baseball Classic,
which means a lot to me because we always question how some of these guys are going to hit against American pitching.
Exactly. Now let's talk about it here just from a Yankee perspective now. So strictly a Yankee perspective with Akamoto.
I would love to see.
We could use. I've talked about it. We've talked about it. I've made videos about it. How the Yankees have this, I almost call it a hang-up, where since the departure of Mark Teixeira, the Yankees really haven't had that first baseman, that kind of stability, the anchor of the infield here. It's been almost like a revolving door. And yes,
even during Teixeira,
it
wasn't ideal either. He was hurt all the time.
Towards the end, he was hurt all the time. Yep, but I would like to see here, rather than they had Rizzo for a few years and then he got hurt, but I want to see a long-term solution here for first base. Now Akamoto's 29, 11 years under his belt. He's a leader. He was a leader in Japan. Right-handed hitting bat, which the Yankees can use desperately. And, to be able to plug him at first base almost every day. Now, I know we have the emergence of Ben Rice, but Ben Rice's game, it's not known for his defense at first base. He's learning this position here pretty much on the fly at the major league level.
Not even mistakes.
There's been some mistakes.
There's some mistakes. There's also just some, not to use the word inability, but there's some inability there because he is not a natural first baseman.
And it's, you got to bring back the emphasis and the importance of this position here now.
Yes.
To be able to plug in a player like Kazuma Akamoto, where, pretty much, every day he's going to be playing there. It's going to almost where, for the length of his contract, of whatever it's going to be, which is going to be real interesting to see.
I'm very interested, especially with the CBA looming.
What type of, exactly with the CBA looming, what type of deal, if the Yankees will or won't open up their wallet to a player of this, stature. You instantly think of Hideki Matsui.
Of course, especially the fact that he's from Yomiuri.
That he played for them, and that's also where Tanaka, Hiro Tanaka, was playing this year. There was that video on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, of Akamoto and Tanaka just playing catch together.
And Tanaka, regardless of what happened with him while he was here, still very much talks well of the Yankees.
Yeah, and
very much
you
so.
could use, Matsui and Tanaka, what they brought here when they were with the Yankees, that nothing to sell short about. The contributions that they made, especially Matsui, and just got to find a way to have. It just seems that these Japanese imports, where the Yankees aren't even being looked at as a serious contender, it was blatantly obvious from Yamamoto. When Yamamoto came over, that they used the Yankees as leverage.
Right.
Same thing with Ohtani. Sasaki was a little different because he was a minor league free agent. That posting was a little bit different than this one here now. But the rumor, or just the say of what people are saying, is that the Yankees are unable to get these Japanese. It's not a draw to come to the Yankees anymore. Val, how could the Yankees bring that back to life here, of where you see Japanese imports wanting to come to the Yankees? Now, Munetaka Murakami, the other player, the other superstar who's getting posted here now, he's on the record saying the only major league team that has ever pretty much came out of his mouth on record was that he would be open to playing for the Yankees. He never really said that, no, that's where he wants to go. Right. The industry, kind of assumes that it'll be a West Coast team just because that's what we've been seeing here now.
Yeah.
But the Yankees have a lot of decisions to make here.
I think the Yankees' history with the Yomiuri
could help them.
I think it helps a lot. We
I'm
have
sure
a good
Hideki
relationship
Matsui,
with them. I think it means a lot.
I'm sure Hideki Matsui will have a lot to do with it here, but the Yankees have 14 players here who are arbitration eligible.
Yeah.
And MLB Trade Rumors put up, what they think, and COTS put up what they think is going to be the money situation with all these 14 arbitration eligible players. So the Yankees have a projected payroll, according to COTS contract, of next year being $278.9 million on the payroll, on the books for the payroll. Now, these 14 players that are up for arbitration are due to make $47.7 million.
Right.
Now, that's if, the Yankees bring back
all of them,
14 of these players. Now, there are a couple on that list that could be non-tender candidates, meaning they just get they become free agents, almost where the Yankees kind of, it's a non-tender where it's almost like a release.
Yeah.
Now, with these 14 players, there's a few of them on here that are non-tender candidates. I would say there's probably about 3 or 4, and we'll go, quick rundown through the list here now. Jazz Chisholm, who's entering his walk year, David Bednar, Mark Leiter Jr., Clark Schmidt, who's injured. If we won't see, best case scenario, we won't see him until the second half of the season.
Right.
Jake Cousins, Ian Hamilton, Luis Heel, Scott Efros, Jake Bird, Oswaldo Cabrera, Fernando Cruz, Anthony Volpe, Jose Caballero. Now, the two big names who are set to make, somewhat big money here, Jazz Chisholm is set to be made around $10.2 million, and David Bednar, $9 million. Now, right off the bat, that's almost $20 million that naturally you would think those two are coming back. So just off, roughly they're going to make around $10 million, $9 million. So figure, give or take, that's $20 million of that 47 allocated to them.
Right.
Could Mark Leiter Jr. be a non-tender candidate? I think so.
There's a couple of people on that.
There's a couple. Yeah. I would say Mark Leiter Jr., Jake Cousins, Ian Hamilton, Scott Efros. You can even say, Jake Cousins on there, but I would say Mark Leiter Jr., Ian Hamilton, Scott Efros, and I would say Jake Cousins too. So those are all guys that could be non-tender candidates, meaning they would become free agents.
I mean, let's be real.
And then there's also 2 club options as well. There's Tim Hill, club option, and Jonathan Loizaga.
How much is that for?
I believe they're $5 million a piece.
Well,
but,
here's my thing: our bullpen is really our weak spot.
Yep.
So if we're gonna sit here and we're gonna talk about all these names and we're gonna say that a lot of these relief pitchers are possible non-tenders, I'm generally okay with that. I think we need to overhaul the bullpen anyway.
They kind of do.
I'm not tied to most of these guys. I mean, Bednar for sure. He has to go back. That'd be crazy.
Just so everyone knows, too, Jazz Chisholm and David Bednar are in walk years.
Which means a lot for their play.
Yes.
Because walk years, as we all know, are usually best stat years of the players.
Look at Trent Grisham.
Oh.
Trent Grisham's prime example of that.
My issue, I mean, listen, we all have our little issues with Jazz here and there, but to not offer him that, I think is kind of.
I would now one scenario, highly unlikely, but could happen. Jazz now, and just to clarify with everything here, the Yankees usually try to avoid arbitration.
Almost always, except
for last year. Mark Leiter Jr. was the first player since Dylan Betances in 2017 where the Yankees went to an arbitration hearing.
Yeah.
They usually tend to settle before they go to arbitration. Now, we could probably, most likely see Jazz getting, re-upped here into his walk year. Could he be a trade candidate? That's a different story, but it's very possible. That's something that could happen.
They may look at the money that they're giving him.
Highly unlikely.
It's not going to stay. That's always a possibility.
For a long term, but or would they just re-up him and then let him ride his contract out and then see see how it goes. But
I mean, I could also see him as a person. I could see him very easily pushing the Yankees to go into arbitration.
Maybe. As
I'm sure
we'll find out. Only time will tell. But from history and recent history has showed us the Yankees try to avoid arbitration and try to settle with all these players.
Now we also have to remember we didn't really talk about the press conference at all.
No, we didn't.
But there was a mention during the press conferences that just happened that there's some sort of ceiling that we're discussing. There's a ceiling on the payroll. It's not just go out there and spend all the money.
Go out and spend willy-nilly. Now, the Yankees, the payroll could be over 300, but I don't see them going that extra mile to make it for an example, make it like a 350.
I don't think that will happen.
In the old days of the Yankees, where they worried about the luxury tax and stuff, we'd over here be talking about how why not a reunion with Cody Bellinger and an addition of Kyle Tucker?
Right.
Where in reality now, with the way the Yankees have been run these last recent years and what we've been seeing, it pretty much seems like one or the other.
Yes.
Now, would the Yankees prioritize, or what's their priority here? Now, a lot of the media and a lot of the a lot of the beat writers have been saying should Cody Bellinger be their number one priority, bringing Cody Bellinger back. Now, we've seen Cody Bellinger perform in a market like New York, and we've seen him show that he has the ability to do that. Now, what's in the back end of your mind is that the Yankees got him from the Cubs. The Cubs got him from the Dodgers. He wasn't traded from the Dodgers. Cody Bellinger, who was a former MVP, was non-tendered by the Dodgers, meaning that the Dodgers thought he wasn't good enough to be a part of their roster. And then the Yankees took him on as a salary dump from the Cubs,
right?
Which could we see someone from our team moved? Could Jazz Chisholm's $10 million be a salary dump?
I mean, I'm going to be honest. And you know me. I've been calling. Listen, nothing against Jazz or anything like that.
No, we like Jazz Chisholm.
Very, very objective when I watch baseball. I am a Yankee fan, always at heart. But I look at it like a business. I know the business well enough at this point in my life from watching it my entire life and going through the things that we've seen and read and watched. It's a business when it comes down to it. No matter how much I like a player, if it's not a reasonable amount of money, it's not a reasonable amount of money. Especially now when we're talking about things like a ceiling on the salaries and all of that stuff. That being said, I think it's a great idea to give Jazz his money and then trade him away. His trade value is really good.
After a 33 season. I mean, the only reason, I mean, I know for me, the only reason I even entertain the idea is, let's be real, as much as we talk about, the regular season not really meaning that much anymore, Jazz, 30-30, 2 postseasons in a row now, where we're searching for someone to be Robin for Judge, who's Batman in this. He needs his sidekick. He needs that sidekick. He had Juan Soto as his sidekick, that superstar sidekick that helped propel the Yankees get to the World Series. He didn't really have that sidekick this year.
No.
Now, as good of a player that Cody Bellinger is, he's not a superstar.
No, that's not his role.
He's a very good player. Very good, above average player.
Yes.
He has that ability to be a superstar, but we haven't seen that. He's not the MVP version. The best version of Cody Bellinger now, I think, the best version that you're going to see is what we saw from him last year.
Agreed. I agree with that.
The main question that you got to ask yourself is, I mean, it would be wonderful if he improved from his statistics of last year and his type of play that he had last year, even with that slow start he had in April. But how much I don't think there's much better version of Cody Bellinger than we already saw last year.
Agree.
But now, does it come down to the value that he had? Yes, Kyle Tucker is the better player. Kyle Tucker is a top 10 player. He's a better player than Cody Bellinger in different aspects of the game. But the value that Cody Bellinger brings compared to Kyle Tucker, in my opinion, of the versatility, of the athleticism, of the being able to play all 3 outfield positions and first base at a Gold Glove caliber level. He's not going to be a top 10 hitter like Kyle Tucker is. But if you're not in that above average threshold defensively that we've now become accustomed with Cody Bellinger, losing that is a lot more of a detriment, I think, than any addition Kyle Tucker brings to the table. Because
I understand that. That makes sense.
The main thing you're going to be losing from Cody Bellinger, if Cody Bellinger doesn't come back, you're going to be losing that versatility. You're going to be losing that athleticism. You're going to be losing that ability in the back burner, in the back part of your brain, saying late in the game, we can move Cody Bellinger over to first base and not miss a beat and not worry about, making the error at first of who's going to have to plug into first.
Well, if he's anything, he's reliable.
Because you can't do that with Kyle Tucker. And then you got to worry about 4 or 5 years, maybe 6 years down the road from now, 2 aging outfielders, 2, big outfielders. How much more of Giancarlo Stanton, how much longer will Giancarlo, is he going to be able to, play the rest of his contract out? Because 3-4 years from now, the conversation is going to be, can Aaron Judge handle the outfield? He's coming into his age 34 season.
Yeah. You know what? We have a lot of things that are.
Do you want to have, do you want to sacrifice winning next year?
Yeah.
Going for the gullet next year.
Right.
Do you sacrifice 4 or 5 years down the road?
Yeah.
Where it can become a complete disaster? I mean, that's where the Yankees are looking. As a fan, we haven't won in 16 years. We want the Yankees to win. We want the Yankees to win next year. Ideally, you want them to bring in all the good players.
Right.
But the reality is the Yankees have an owner who is leaning towards a salary cap. He is one of the owners that wants and is promoting the salary cap. So what is this offseason going to be? We keep hearing that, they want to lower the payroll even more than it was last year. So that makes you wonder, do they have even a shot at Kyle Tucker? Do they have a shot at even bringing Cody Bellinger back? And we know Cody Bellinger is the Scott Boras client, and they're going to be using the Yankees as the example, as he always does. Now, it makes me even think, we put all this energy and hopes of wanting Okamoto. Are the Yankees going to even be in that market?
They may not. We could be talking all about that.
I mean, should they be? Yes. Now, the point I'm trying to get across here is that we talked about 3 players: Kyle Tucker, Cody Bellinger, Kazuma Okamoto. In my opinion, out of all these guys, of who should be the Yankees' number 1 target, it should be Kazuma Okamoto. Prioritized over bringing back Cody Bellinger.
I agree.
And everyone's talking about how Cody Bellinger should be the Yankees' number 1 bringing back. Joel Sherman has talked about it. Andy Martino has talked about it. Some people have talked about Kyle Tucker should be their number 1. I'm over here saying I think Okamoto for what all in all, everything that he brings to the table, that is what the Yankees need more. Now, I say that because you could, elevate a Spencer Jones from the minor league to play in the outfield, which it's just, it's either call him up or trade him at this point.
Yeah.
Same thing goes for Jason Dominguez. We've been hearing about this kid since he was 16 years old. He's no longer the Martian. That moniker, to me, is out the window. Because the way, if he was, held in such high regard, and if they thought so highly of him, we would have seen him play everyday reps this year. And now we're hearing him going to play in winter ball with Leonis, going to play winter ball out there. And he's going to have to play winter ball because he's not getting the reps here.
Right.
We don't know what we have, him playing left field every day because he hasn't gotten the opportunity to play every day. And the only way we're going to find out is if he's an everyday left fielder, like it seems like they want him to be, is you got to play him.
Yep.
You got to play him. And you know what? There's only 3 outfield spots. There's only 9 spots on the field at one time where you can play guys. And it's just, I'm kind of getting just sick and tired of hearing about it, of what they could be. Why don't we just let them play?
Yeah.
Let them play. And, unpopular with most of the fans, this year is the perfect time with the Yankees going into a season where there's a looming collective bargaining agreement. If they just came out and said Spencer Jones is the center fielder, Jason Dominguez is the left fielder, if they just came out and said it, it would make sense to me.
Yeah.
To me, it would make sense. I mean, yeah, you'd be bummed out. They're not going to be going after big-name free agents, but it makes sense. They're going into a time of uncertainty of what it's going to be. But the money that was going to be allocated to those players can be allocated to other, points of need where the money could be given to Okamoto.
Yeah, exactly. See,
where they need a first baseman, another starting pitcher.
In line with what you're saying,
with all the injuries that they have, going into the season with Garrett Cole,
right,
and now Carlos Rodon,
right. A lot of injuries to deal with.
If the payroll is going to be lowered, there's still a threshold of where they're going to have to spend, and with 14 players being arbitration eligible, 11 roster spots being up for grabs here, you're going to have to field the team. You're going to have to field the bullpen. You're going to have to field a roster. It costs money. It's not free. Whether you're calling guys up from the minors or importing from the free agent market, making trades.
And then not looking, let's skip over 2009 for a second because that was kind of like an outlier.
Yep.
Let's go back to 96, 98, 99, 2000. Those teams, for the most part, were farm-raised.
They had homegrown core.
I know everyone wants to sign the guy, trade for somebody. But you know what? If we don't have a basis of our team, our core 4, everyone wants to talk about our core 4. Where did they come from?
Yeah.
They came from the system. We need to be able to call these guys up and support them properly in their growth. in order to have this happen again. Otherwise, we're going to have these flash in the pan teams that just there's no basis in it anymore.
It really, a lot of it too comes down to I'm tired of hearing about the prospect. I want to see them play.
I want to see them.
And I want to see them play. And we've been calling for Jason Dominguez to get an everyday role.
But this poor guy's
he wasn't. I mean, he wasn't even given the opportunity to seize and take it.
No.
We'll see how he does in winter ball. We'll see how it plays out this year.
Osvaldo Cabrera, they said, is also looking at playing winter ball this year, getting back on track. He's doing pretty well. So
I would assume he'll have an opportunity to get some early reps at shortstop with the Anthony Volpe injury.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Garrett Cole, Carlos Rodon, Anthony Volpe, all three big pieces to this Yankee team. Whether the fan base, whether anyone likes them or not as players, these are key facets of the Yankees, winning machine of people they think very highly of and part of this ball club. So those guys in the short term are going to have to be, replaced.
Right.
But from a team that we all kind of understand here now, I really don't see them going out spending willy-nilly like the Dodgers, whether they make as much money as they do or not, or whatever it is they make. It kind of is what it is here. It's just I would like to see the Yankees sort of commit to where they're sort of that in-between, like where they want to call guys up and bring guys, from the outside. It's an in-between that they're at. It's not a full – it's never a rebuild, and they're not in that – it's not even that bad where they want to rebuild. But you're trying to get my point across here where
something has to happen.
Something has to give. But don't ignore this looming collective bargaining agreement after this season. There's going to most likely be a work stoppage for a long time where, we can have baseball a season and a half, God forbid 2 seasons where there's no baseball. It's going to be – it's a big deal. It's going to be a long time. And, you really have to take this offseason, the money that's coming out of this offseason. It has to be the collective bargaining agreement after the 26 season going into 27 has to be considered. That, a team like the Yankees where their owner wants a salary cap. And I repeat it again, the owner is for a salary cap. For, us wanting the big name free agent from Japan, both of them. Some half of the fan base wants Akamoto, the other wants Murakami.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see them going after numerous, both like 2 or 3 of these guys at the same time. If it's going to be one of them, and that's even if that. And I would just say, don't be surprised if we see an outfield next year of Jason Dominguez, Spencer Jones, Aaron Judge. And that's the starting 3. Not that I would, I would be okay with it. Just me, I would be okay with it because I want to see what Spencer Jones has. I want to see what Jason Dominguez has because I come from where I don't want to hear about them anymore. I don't want to read about them anymore. There's only so much of minor league ball you can keep seeing them play and perform at. And now with Jason Dominguez's case, you want to just see him play because you have a 24-year-old on the bench, which is or 22, 20,
whatever.
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. It's just either play them or trade them for someone that you're going to play.
Yeah.
Simple as that. And, really looking forward to see how this free agent market is going to, shape up. We have all these, high-class performers coming over from Japan and just to see how they perform in our game here. And it's just real interesting that there's, in a light free agent market, it's not that big of a free agent market where they have, for the big splash. It's just going to be real interesting to see here, where, the Yankees allocate their resources this offseason with the collective bargaining agreement coming next year.
It's
going to be real interesting. It's going to be really, really interesting.
Man.
We'll see if Trent Grisham gets that qualifying offer. It's starting to feel like he might not.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Fans.
But I mean, we'll see what happens. Just let's try to enjoy the rest of this baseball season here as outsiders looking in. Congratulations. I doubt there's any.
As we're talking, there's a Blue Jay on the tree right outside. Maybe it's just mine.
But, congratulations to the Blue Jays and Dodgers fans. You know, even though they're not the nicest on our page here. But
everybody's got opinions. It's
all views are always welcome, whether you are for the Yankees, not for the Yankees, and all those hateful comments contribute to the comments. So we thank you for that.
It's all traction on the page. That's it.
You know, not going to come out here saying. I mean, we if you follow us, you know how we feel about both clubs. Not our favorite, but it's the World Series. The two best teams have made it. So may the better team win. If the Dodgers win, gives everyone a taste of what the Yankees used to be, and if the Blue Jays win, it just shows the Yankees of how important it was, those games in division that cost the Yankees a division, which pretty much cost them, and I firmly believe this, being in the spot where the Blue Jays are today.
I agree.
And we'll leave it at that.
And
let's beat the Eagles this week. Yes. We've done it already. Let's do it again. Take that season series against the Eagles. I mean, we're not. We're not even halfway through the football season yet. Almost halfway through.
We got plenty of time left. Plenty.
Let's see how the Giants, show up this week against the Eagles, because I'm sure they're going to be looking to make a statement after that last one.
Yeah, for sure. All right, everybody.
Have a great day, guys. Enjoy the rest of your week.
Next episode.